Hey folks, it's Ardwulf. Welcome. We have an unboxing video today. This is something new for me. It is Vietnam Rumor of War from the OSS system designed by Adam Starkweather, who is also the designer of this individual game. This is a game from Compass Games. I believe this was released in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Is that actually accurate? Yes, indeed it is. So I have no experience with this system. I have talked to a few guys who have played the Korea game, and they had some issues with it when it came out, but they basically like it. So I went and pushed the button, since the folks at Compass at their expo were kind enough to sell it to me at a gangbusters price. So I picked it up. So we'll see. I know that the map is quite large and quite attractive. So I'm not going to be able to show you the whole thing, but we'll at least get a glimpse at it here. So, and I like the cover. It's a nice cover. So this is another 2019 Compass release, which feels like it is in a sturdier box than they have used in the past. Not sure if that's an actual thing or if it's just coincidence, but no, okay. So we have a Compass Games catalog. This is the 2018 holiday catalog. So if you would like to see the current Compass Games holiday catalog with the 2019 sale prices, there's a video on that in the channel, so check that out. We got a couple of dice. We got some, these feel like I don't like them, but who cares? I've got a gazillion dice. They're not really that bad. So we got two D10s and two D60s. So let's set those aside for now, whilst we examine the many components. So we have a rule book, which feels reasonably hefty, actually. This is a full-color, matte finish rule book on pretty thick paper. One of the interesting things you might notice on this page that explains the counters is that there are no factors on the counters. Now, that is something that always concerns me, but at the same time, I have seen games do that and still be fantastic games. One example would be Unconditional Surrender from Sal Vasta and GMT Games. That game has no factors on the units, and it's pretty great. So this is it feels pretty thick, but I don't think it's actually that many pages. It's 36 pages. We have a counter manifest on the back, which is always nice. It does look like we are front to back actual rules, unless we're in optional rules right now. We are not. So we got about 32, 33 pages of actual rules here, which doesn't scare me at all. Reasonably small print, but not super duper small, and there's quite a ton of illustrations, actually. So this is an interesting looking system. Like I said, this is the second game in the series, and there's more on the way, of course. Check out the Compass Games website for that. This is the one that interested me the most. I think Vietnam is a little more interesting to me at this time. This could change. A little more interesting than the Korean War. Plus, Compass has the classic Joe Balkowski Korean War from Victory Games coming back. So and I've played that, and there's that too. Wow. Okay, so this feels super duper thick. This is example of play and scenarios. So what we have here is this gets right into a comprehensive example of play, and this looks. To be honest, this looks lavishly done. So 20 pages into the rule book, no, maybe not quite. We're still into example of play. Yep, we're still into example of play. Here we have, right here on page 22, we start with scenarios. And looking at it, look like there are 4 scenarios in the game, of which the 4th is the whole Vietnam War. Scenario 1, Eastertide, the Easter Offensive in 1972. Looks like that's a 2-turn game, so this is probably something like an introductory scenario. I know we have some pretty neat illustrations here. So, and we're getting all the way back into the various scenario details here. So this is a 56 page what I would call a playbook, although it's not called that on the book itself. Quite lavish, actually. That was a little bit unexpected. We have, as is typical in a game like this, we have some player aids. Here is a terrain effects chart. On the back, we have a rules reminder sheet. We have a communist player aid with some tracks and some display boxes, and that is, as you'd expect, blank on the back. We have a capitalist player aid with essentially not quite all the same boxes, but it's similar. There's another TEC, so we'll put that with the first TEC. And again, a rules reminder sheet on the back. There is a capitalist air display, again, and a communist air display. This is interesting. So it kind of looks, and I think this is completely reasonable, it looks like the air system does differ somewhat between the communist faction and the capitalist faction. So that's interesting. How involved this game is, I don't really know, but the rulebook's not that big. So we do have some counters. Now this game's supposed to play relatively quickly as well, which is also attractive. I mean, not necessarily 2 hours, right? But also not necessarily 150 hours. So we got counters here, and it looks like we have counters for divisions and some regiments. I'm not, because there's no factors on the counters, I'm not really sure what to make of this stuff. There's a lot of what look like units. Here's obviously some air units, but there's also a lot of markers here. And we do have some leader markers as well. Here's some Ranger battalions, for example, and here's some, looks like U.S. Army and U.S. Marines. Definitely some Marines. So, and then some air support, tank support, artillery support, bombardment type markers. Here's some ARVN units. So it looks like the counter density is not going to be super duper high on this. And it's 3 sheets of counters. Now this is not a white core stock, which I would just flex in it. I mean, it feels a little thin, but not like super duper thin. So I think this is acceptable. I know some folks have had issues removing Compass Games counters from the sheets. And at this point, having punched a number of their games, I'm really not having that problem. I may be using an advanced technique of some kind for all I know, but I'm not really having the problem. So let's take a quick look. There's 3 maps. Map A, Map B, Map C. And I'm not going to be able to, in the time and space I have available at the moment, to show you the whole thing, but let's bust one of them out so you can at least get a sense of what it looks like. And I think it looks pretty good. Now the map artist here is Ilya Kudryashov. I have to look at that twice every time I read it off. This is pretty attractive. It's not what I would call an elaborately graphic map, but it looks 100% playable. At a glance, I am not having trouble determining what terrain is what. And again, there's 3 of them, so it's a pretty big play area, right? It's bigger than the old Victory Games Vietnam, which, you know, bigger is not necessarily better. We do have some fleet boxes, or some sea boxes here, which is interesting. We do have hexes in Thailand. I wonder if that means that Thailand is in play, but it's also kind of grayed out, which suggests that it's not, with the possible exception of border hexes or something like that. So we will see. This is an interesting looking system, and I would like it to be good. So, and there's of course a turn record track here that takes you all the way from 1965 to 1975. So this pretty much covers the main period of the Vietnam War. Of course, that itself is an oversimplification, as anybody who is reasonably well informed on the Vietnam. Whoa, look at that. We have a loose counter. So let's make sure that's not coming out of our counter sheet somewhere. That probably is. That looks like that is a legitimately loose counter that is not out of any of the sheets I have. So somewhere there is a copy of Vietnam Rumor of War that is missing this disrupted counter. I actually don't see it. No, they're right here on counter sheet 3, these guys. But I don't appear to be missing any of them. So somewhere out there, there is a missing counter in your copy of Vietnam Rumor of War. So if that's you, please mention it in the comments below. And I guess I could ship it to you if it really is, if you're missing one disrupted counter. But let me know. If you're interested in seeing more of this game, please mention it in the comments below. If you have enjoyed the sort of exhaustive unboxing video, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. There is quite a lot more content on the way. So this has been Vietnam Rumor of War from Adam Starkweather, and Compass Games. Thanks for watching. We will see you again soon.